Our first mixed division matchup here at the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships in Brampton, Ontario. I'm here at Credit View Sandalwood Field. My name is Clayton Howlett. I'm here with G. Lee to call our matchup with Harfang from Quebec, hailing from Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, versus Red Fox from Sherbrooke, Quebec. This will be a fun matchup today as both teams are facing each other for the 5th time this season. They are currently 2-2, so as they are definitely looking like the top teams in this pool after rolling through their last matches quite handedly, this is going to be a slugfest. Gee, what are you excited for in this one?
I'm excited to see this 5th game matchup between the two, as both teams are kind of fighting for first place in their pool right now and hoping not to play an extra game tomorrow. So this should be very exciting.
Red Fox starting on offense. Our gender ratio to begin the game is 4 women. Red Fox opening up with a huck against Harfang's person defense, and right off the bat here we have a call. Had that Red Fox player been able to catch it without any contact, it would have been clean, but some contact against the back of his hand as he was reaching for the disc does constitute a foul. He explained that to his check, and his check agrees, so it's a foul, no contest. He'll have the disc just outside of the end zone. Dubé just outside. Finds the OI flick for an easy goal. And that's a really quick first point.
Yeah, it was looking really clean over there, and that was a nice throw to an open person cutting into the end zone. Great look from the handler.
So I had some time earlier to go watch Red Fox and Harfang. Just at the first point here, we've just seen person defense against the horizontal set offense. Pretty standard ultimate, in Canadian ultimate anyway, something we're all pretty used to. However, I am curious to see both teams bring out their zones. I saw Red Fox try it against their adversary, Mulla Mulla, earlier, and they didn't seem to have any trouble with it, but Harfang's I'm quite excited to see. Kind of a stifling, suffocating zone. But right now, I'm going to have my eye on number 31, calling out the line there for Harfang, who is Alexandre Melion. He is one of their, I would say, when I was watching their game, kind of the quarterback on their team.
I was talking to him before the game, too, and he was saying that he also does a lot of the strategy of their team. So we're going to see a lot out of him both on and off the field.
That pull goes out of bounds. Marion will pick up. For those uninitiated, Marion is walking it up to the brick mark, the X in the center of the field. If the pull goes out of bounds at a certain point, he can center it for a favorable position. Harfang starts with a vertical offense. They seemingly have been exclusively vertical so far in this tournament. And seemingly very patient. Malion just going back and forth in the front. And McCutcheon was able to toe the line there and then lets it rip. But the wind catches it. Red Fox is there to make the defensive play. And that defender just swats it right into the arms of a waiting Marion. We are tied 1-1.
What a grab from Marion over there. He just ran right into the play, helping out his player and catching that D right into his arms.
I'm sure that's exactly what McCutcheon wanted.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That was the play.
That was the play. The wind here hasn't been too bad today. It's definitely a little bit gusty, and we've seen, particularly on these turf fields, anything that gets 10 to 12 feet in the air, the wind's probably going to catch and carry along. So Harfang kind of getting lucky there. We'll see if that persists this game. So far, we have seen just a horizontal offense out of Red Fox. I did see in their last game that they were comfortable floating between vertical and horizontal. When you've played a team 4 times and your rivals, as these two are, self-declared rivals, they know it, you need to have different offensive sets and looks. So we'll see what they have here, but perhaps saving it for later. Harfang coming down in his regular person defense. Red Fox electing to stick with the horizontal. Lets one off the chain immediately. Wynn carrying it. It's going to be contested. But a big bring down by Red Fox. There's some signals, but no, it's just a goal. A great box out by Red Fox.
That looked like a set play, actually, for that strike. It was a nice flow up the field, and Red Fox just had 2 strikers going for that one. They're almost, I think the female striker was like, hey, yo, you could take it.
So that was Dubé with the goal. Earlier at the beginning of the game, we were speaking to Harfang, and they were saying that the key for them this game will be to stop the Dubé brothers. So with the Dubé scoring that one, Harfang is probably definitely on the sideline or on the line right now saying to themselves, hey, remember our plan?
And those were contested. Every single thing that they have scored right now, it's been contested. So this is going to be a tight game back and forth the whole time until one of these teams can find or get on a run.
Yeah. What will be the first big error where we see a team turn it around here? So our observers just clarifying things for some of the teams before the pull here. Sometimes after not playing with our observers in orange for quite a while, there's some rust and everybody has to remember a few of the intricate rules. So the pull by Red Fox, not very high, coming down near the brick mark. And Harfang able to get a quick pass off. Centers to Marion. He's going to find a cutter underneath, flips it back to him, and they center the disc. And a pick is called. Picks are illegal in ultimate and very, very frequent in a vertical offense. But a quick resolution. Back to play. Marion doing the work to get open. Has a wide open under. To Dubois. Dubois still looking for an option. He's able to find a dump. And Harfang electing always to center back to Marion. He's definitely in that main handler set position. And he finds another hole down to the corner of the end zone. And as that throw was to the break side, most defenders were on the wrong side and out of position. So Marion is fairly uncontested making that catch.
Marion did a great job of seeing that he was being really suffocated in the handler set. So he pushed himself out into a really nice position on the break side and caught an easy throw from his handler.
Couturier, I believe. 2-2. So far, fast-paced ultimate. Kind of what we expected in a rivalry matchup like this. Both teams are pretty tight in their relationship with their teammates. Harfang, formerly Battleship, has been playing together for quite a long time, and Red Fox is kind of the family team, isn't it?
Yeah, we were talking about that before the game, looking at all the team names and everything, saying that there's a lot of siblings and partners on this team. So this is really cool to see, and you can tell also with the chemistry that they're not missing a lot. It's going to be a very gelled group.
Yeah. Haven't seen any yelling at each other yet.
No. Too early. Let's wait till half.
Yeah. So Harfang with the pull. It's a floater, just making it past half. But inbounds is always the first key to any good pull. And here we are seeing Harfang zone setting up. So they will typically really press the resets and just try and jam up the middle. I imagine Red Fox has seen it before, and it looks like they have. If they're able to cycle the disc really quickly around to lots of available receivers. So Harfang electing to hold the zone despite Red Fox seeming to run right through right now. But they get back into position. Once again, we can see the closest reset, the closest dump for that handler being covered. But Red Fox seemingly have no problem finding any holes through the middle right now. And just like that, the last hole found through the middle for the goal to Dubé once again.
Really patient handling in there. As you could tell that Red Fox has seen this zone before. They're looking really comfortable in there. They're looking for the easy open passes, and it got to an easy score.
Yeah, and I should note, I said Dubé got that goal, but Dubé also threw that goal. Oh, so we are already seeing, yeah, Dubé. So we're already seeing some familiar connections coming through for Red Fox. Now, we're still on serve. There have been no breaks in this game so far. But I would say, gee, that it's been a pretty quick 5 points.
It has been. No turnovers to really change the game. There's been like one or two, but nothing that has actually made any points too long. Both teams are doing a good job of keeping possession of the disc.
Yeah. Red Fox with the pull. Good, not getting a chance to, or Harfang not getting a chance to field that in the air, so Red Fox is able to get down pretty quick. And we are seeing Red Fox's zone now, which is looking like a straight up force, so trying to shut down the middle of field while playing a very tight defensive look on the reset. But just like before, it seems apparent that Harfang has seen this before. A big bid from Red Fox to try and break this up to no avail. Marion calling out where he wants his receivers, and they respond. And McCutcheon with the pass to Dubois. Harfang seemed to just cut through that zone without issue.
It looks like they've seen each other before, and they know the drill. Harfang's doing a great job right now of just taking the easy inside passes, and what they're doing really well is they're looking for a quick opening beyond the cup, which are the first three people that you see in a zone usually, or two, and just breaking right through into an easy pass into the end zone. Yeah.
Sometimes on the turf fields, what's interesting, I know that the grass at these fields is pretty short, but the turf fields always afford you a little bit of extra speed too. And when you're playing against a zone defense where the wind is fairly light and you're on turf, you're able to change direction and cut quite quickly to either away or to the disc. So zones do work, but when the conditions are favorable and you're able to move fast and on dry ground with a lot of grip, it can be really difficult to kind of play a shut down, suffocating defense in a zone.
What we're seeing is it's hard to contain these players in that zone. They're able to move any way they want. They're able to throw it through the cup, which makes it very difficult right now to actually cause a turnover.
Harfang's pull just landing behind the brick. Lambert picks up, finds Dubé in the middle. Finds another Dubé. Back to Dubé. And Red Fox, oh, what a great effort. Red Fox seemingly had just the go-ahead offense there, moving quite quickly, but that throw just a little too deep and just sailing out the back. But a great effort from that Red Fox cutter. So Harfang's going to have their first chance at a break. Walking up to the front of the end zone where you can tap it in. Harfang once again sticking with their vertical offense. The cut off the front of the stack strikes. Lambert's waiting for it. He's able to field that and bring that down for Red Fox. He flips it up to Dubé, who finds Dubé. Desmarais receiving that break throw. Dubé looking for options, elects to swing it back to the open side. But Desmarais doing a good job to keep it into the middle. And Dubé strikes deep for a big hawk, able to toe the line, keep it in. Starting to see a pattern here, G.
Just a little bit of a pattern. These brothers are looking unstoppable right now, and we know that Harfang's going to come in and try to really contain them. Red Fox is doing a great job right now of moving that disc through the handlers and initiating through them. The vert stack is very patient, and you can see that once they have an opportunity, they're going to make a move and make that deep strike, and it's working. Looks good.
I want to give one shout out that point to Trottier on Red Fox there, who was just always available for the reset. And she kind of was able to put Harfang on their back feet when she was able to get that great break around to Desmarais, because from there, Red Fox's offense was just off to the races. But no break as of yet. We are still on serve. The score 4-3 for Red Fox. Starting to bite my nails a little bit, wondering
when's the first break?
That first break is going to be a big one too. You know that energy is going to shift right away. Players are going to be really excited, and especially when these teams know the energy of each other. That grab of that energy and taking control of it is going to be huge. So Harfang, on the other hand, is going to just have to continue holding, as they don't want to let that go as Red Fox comes down on defense. Marion looking for options. Finds the around to McCutcheon. Helix looking back to Marion, sticks with him. Marion's able to make a triple cut up the line, finds a receiver off the back of the stack. Couturier, she goes back to Marion. He's got to get down to field it, does a great job. Get back up and start directing traffic. Looking for the hammer, but this isn't Masters. And with kind of a cheeky throw, doesn't pay off for him, and Red Fox is able to get the run through D. And we're seeing Red Fox just speak to each other and say, settle it down, slow it down.
There's that turn.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as Red Fox maybe had their first opportunity at a break, they turn it over immediately, and Harfang's in their end zone set. Marion is able to find Dubois. He flips it back up the line to Marion, who's seemingly having no issue getting open in the end zone this game.
He's a hard one to cover up that line right now. Doing a good job of using his body to get right in front of it. But Red Fox has a handful with him in that handler position cutting up.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if, as you know, like beginning a game, sometimes you don't want to show all your cards.
Yeah.
I do wonder as well, you were saying earlier that these teams were thinking they don't want to play any pre-quarters or, you know, backdoor runs to get into the finals or anything. But I do wonder, having played each other for the playing each other for the fifth time today, if there's still some trump cards being hidden in our back pockets here, and maybe we're not seeing kind of a zone lockdown of Marion by Red Fox because they don't want to show us that yet.
That's true too. And sometimes I find match D, there's a little bit more intensity too, and you're just bringing more of a higher level play style, so that they have to battle it out to try and catch the disc, contest everything, and maybe they're just making it hard for each other right now and waiting for that one chance to get that break.
Maybe get a little ahead and then rip out something tricky. So Red Fox picking up the pull at the brick mark. Elect for the under to a Dubé brother, who finds another Dubé, who have no problem playing with each other. A pick called. I'm not quite sure where. Our observer is just trying to figure it out. Looks like both teams have it sorted. So Dubé will start on the disc. He'll tap it in, stalls at 0. Dubé finds Lambert. And he finds tries to find another Dubé, but that throw just a little too behind the receiver and too hard to field. Harfang a little excited at their chance at the break here. We're seeing that play again from Harfang where the front of the stack cuts immediately and then goes deep. And a shot by Harfang for the first break of the game. And unfortunately, I believe there, Red Fox, that was a great defensive play. He made his player go up early and caused the turnover. And now Red Fox is going to have to work it out of their end zone and decide to do that with a huck immediately, which is far too shallow and easily defended by Potra. Harfang sticking with the vertical, seeing a little bit more of a chilly look now. Want to lock in that break. Good choice not to throw that up the line. That was covered. Begin to work it back to the middle of the field. Potra in the middle, telling his team, settle it down, looking for some cuts. Doesn't like what he sees. And goes to reset the count. Looks like he wanted it back. But instead, Duchance is able to find a receiver in the end zone, and that is our first break of the game.
They caused a few turnovers in that point and got rewarded for it in the end for being gritty, and Harfang is looking amped up after that.
Yeah, as they should be. I mean, when these teams have tight games and they go 2-2 coming into this, that break is huge. Now, you're not going to win if you don't break, and getting that break, that defensive point against the rival too, kind of, it feels good.
It feels good.
So what's interesting too, if for those uninitiated or not familiar with Ultimate, now what we'll see from Harfang here is a bunch of players that really haven't been on the field very much this game, as teams typically kind of a traditional way of setting lines is you have an offensive line and defensive line, a lot like gridiron football. And now that Harfang has scored one defensive point, we're going to see some players that may not have even been on the field yet this game, as they haven't really had the chance to have a lot of defensive break opportunities. So we'll start to see, or hopefully, some new names develop here in Harfang getting it done. Harfang's pull, bouncing off the ground and mishandled just a little, but gives them enough time to get down and throw on their defense. However, Red Fox just comfortable to throw some short passes, but then unleash. Oh, it's just a huck that sailed a little too far, and Dubé thought about towing the line, laid out, maybe was looking for the greatest. Gee, I would have liked to see that.
That wind right now, you just don't know when it's going to take that disc and keep going.
Harfang now at an opportunity second break, still sticking with vertical. Centering it back to the middle. And a big bid by Dubé, but it's not there, and Harfang's able to unleash a big huck to Guérin, and that is the second break of the game for Harfang. They are now up 6-4. Pretty huge for them right now, and perhaps unsurprisingly, Red Fox has called a timeout.
Good time to kind of get them back into a good headspace. They've turned it twice now, having 2 breaks in a row, making Harfang go on a run. So they're trying to stop the bleeding, basically, and hopefully can get one back in the next one.
Yeah. Both teams are doing a really good job of kind of playing rather efficient offense. I think what we've seen so far is Harfang has been mostly willing to value the disc and keep it in the middle of the field, which has given them lots of opportunities down the field. They're not really ever feeling jammed up. And I think that the last point, my hot take for the day, Red Fox got a little impatient, I think. I think they started looking for opportunities to big receivers who have carried them through the game so far, like Dubé, but then found Harfang was waiting for it.
Mm-hmm. I think the game is changing, and they're getting antsy to score. So it might just be nerves. It might also just be anticipating, or anxious maybe is the better word about it. Anxious to kind of get a point back on the board.
Yeah.
They are looking for deep shots a lot more than Harfang is, so Red Fox needs to, like you said, maybe just calm it down a little bit, get some throws going and a little bit of flow before putting it.
Yeah, when your team is no longer on serve, that is, you've been scored against on an when you had an offensive point, the other team has got that big defensive point, and suddenly you realize, oh, our team is down. We're now actually behind. That anxiety you're talking about can really come to the forefront, and it takes a lot of discipline not to rush anything to try and get back on serve. So Red Fox has put back their well, I guess kept, that is, their O-line out, while Harfang is still rolling their defensive line. A few players now that we've seen playing defense. So that forehand pull lands just in front of the brick, but rolls. And Lambert is able to field kind of a risky throw that could have been defended right off the bat. And his pass, there's a miscue with Dubé, so kind of cut one way and through the other. So Harfang, once again, has shot another break, and they just elect to rip it right away. Wow. And Lemay-Lheureux is there for a quick, almost thrower-initiated pass by Tremblay-Remillard, and Harfang up another break.
Harfang is doing a great job right now trying to make it really hard for the cutters on Red Fox to cut in and get that disc. Handlers are having trouble getting open and forcing throws that maybe Red Fox isn't used to throwing. They look panicked.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think what I'd like to see, hot take number 2, perhaps, if I was the coach of Red Fox right now, I'd start to see look for looks to players that typically aren't my big receivers. Because I think what Red Fox is going through right now is the same old, what we're used to is not panning out right now. So perhaps Red Fox has to shake up their strategy a little bit here to get back on the board. And while the score is 7-4, we've just seen how quickly Harfang has run that up, and I'm sure Red Fox could do the same. So this is a big point for Harfang, though. If they can take half here, that will be pretty demoralizing for Red Fox. So this pull landing just ahead of the brick mark. Red Fox not too quick to get on top of it. Harfang able to get down on defense pretty quickly. Now, a strike opportunity for Red Fox there, but you see that more chilly offense they're thinking. And then find a more open receiver to unleash the huck. And wide open to the break side of the field. Beaulieu had no problems bringing that in, but that pass, I think, was just kind of perfect, right where the defender couldn't get it.
Yeah, and they did a good job that one. They moved the disc up. They found a good opportunity to make that throw, and the receiver was wide open. That wind, though, I'm a little nervous that that wind's going to push that disc over to our end, to our sideline a lot faster with the height of some of these throws that we're seeing.
Yeah, that's true. We're seeing most hucks today go up quite high where the wind is starting to play tricks on us. But both teams have also demonstrated that if the other team, if their opponent wants to throw a laser, something low and fast, that they're ready for it. So perhaps that's part of the game plan. So Harfang has the O-line we've been seeing, led by Marion, out set to go. Red Fox putting out a defensive line with most players that have been on the field so far this game. They seem to be discussing a plan. Now, our observers in orange are there on the sidelines, reminding the teams how much time they have to pull, they will get penalized. So within 90 seconds, that pull goes up, fielded by Marion, and of course it's going to center to him where he looks for shots upfield. And he resets around to McCutcheon, who's able to bring in that contested catch. McCutcheon once again looks for a big throw, the backhand, but you could see almost right out of his hand that had the outside in edge into the wind, and that was going to carry right out of bounds right away.
Felt like he held the disc too long. Got God, he really wanted that huck so much that he just grabbed that disc too tightly. And
Yeah, made the eyes with the receiver.
Ooh, yes.
Really wanted it and just kind of forced it. Red Fox now with the break opportunity. They slot into a horizontal offense and move the disc to the middle of the field. Harfang sticking with person defense. Red Fox taking their time, looking for the sure shot resets as to maintain possession. And unfortunately, that throws a little low for Bolia, and it just bounces off the ground. And Harfang has called a timeout. Probably a good strategy.
Yeah,
I would say you're up 7-5 before half time's at 8. You've got at least one timeout per half. You probably want to use in these situations. And at the brick mark, just 20 yards outside of the end zone, Harfang's going to set something up. Do you think it'll be vertical?
I think it'll be vertical. Lots of space.
Yeah.
Got to use it.
Well, it's working for them. You can see that, like, in most vertical offenses, I think what we all more experienced Ultimate players are used to are picks and teams not doing it fast enough, and it's really janky. But Harfang seems to be running a very clean, very disciplined vertical offense, and the score would dictate that it's working for them. So let's see what they throw here.
It looks pretty straight in the middle of the field for me.
Yeah, we are so smart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just called it. But Malion's going to pick up. Once the offense is set, they have to stop moving. The defensive team, Red Fox, after the offense has stopped moving and set up where they're going to set up, they have 20 seconds to find their positions, which they do, and the disc will get tapped in. Malion with the disc. Straight for a reset. Spending a little bit more time looking upfield than going back to Malion right away. We can see him always pointing to the cut he wants. McCutcheon now looking for options on the sideline. He finds Jeantron. Back to McCutcheon. And almost from the back of the stack would we have had the break for half, but the Red Fox defender saw that all the way, and she was able to get that big run through D. And Red Fox now back to their horizontal offense. Playing some open side ultimate right now that's working for them. Their athleticism is really showing right now with the speed. And that throw, I feel like number 17 on Red Fox there, Delochet, went a little bit early because he got worried about Marion right behind him there.
She put a little too much edge on that disc. Wrong way, and it turned right in. Tough throw to make against that wind.
Absolutely. So Marion will bring it up. He lofts one over to McCutcheon. McCutcheon looking for options. He finds Marion. The quintessential reset for this team. And McCutcheon's able to find a big under to Bronco. And a big up the line cut leads to a lofty huck out to McCutcheon. And McCutcheon's going to have that. I think he had that, and on his way down, coming down on top of his defender. But we'll see. So there's a discussion with the observer, as they were both probably in the air. It would make sense to talk it out. They both didn't see it. It seems they agree, and that is a goal for McCutcheon.
That's great spirit by Red Fox over there. I think he also knew that McCutcheon had possession of that disc and stopped that spin, as per se.
I agree with you. He kind of got up and knew
like,
right away
that
McCutcheon had that. So able to get in his hands and stop the spin, as you say. And then if there's contact with the player, even if he's making a bid after you have the disc, if his contact causes you to lose that possession and is only due to his or her contact, then, of course, that is a foul. And both players recognizing that. So Harfang, another break, taking half. The score is 8-5. And in this game, one little quirk we will see is that Red Fox started on offense. So as our halftimes mirror, what's going to happen is that Harfang will be receiving. the pole. So Harfang will get to start half on offense, which is an excellent position to be when you're up and taking half on a break. So I'm sure they're quite happy with the way the game is going so far. And that's just one extra hurdle for Red Fox to overcome, because now as they're down, they don't even get to start on offense.
Sometimes I like coming out on defense too, just because you're coming in with a bit more energy. You're coming in and all you're going to do is just grind it out and make sure they're going to turn that disc over. So it could be good opportunity for Red Fox to get some momentum back if they can cause a turnover and just be a bit more grittier in there. I don't think they're not gritty. I just think that if they could step it up a little and then capitalize on any kind of turn, they might get this game a little closer.
Absolutely. I wonder if we'll see someone or a few players just come out firing from Red Fox here.
Love to see it.
Love to see it. And to start that big drive, that momentum train of energy and grind to get that defense. But you can see that Red Fox is having a big discussion about strategy, and I'm sure there's some talk about energy as well. But for now, we're going to wrap it up for halftime and take a break. Halves are 5 minutes long, so we'll probably be back in about 2 or 3.
Thank you to everyone for tuning in as we get ready for the second half of this game here at CUC Brampton. Once again, thank you for tuning in. As always, this cannot be done without the help of volunteers. We've got quite a few volunteers here. You may see them on stream in the yellow shirts. So thank you to the volunteers. Thank you to Ultimate Canada for running and organizing this. It's been a challenging few years, and it's always challenging. But also thank you to the tournament directors. We hope you will tune in for our last game of the day. But until then, I'm going to turn it back to the commentators.
We are back to our mixed matchup between Harfang and Red Fox right at the outset of our second half as the poll goes up. Harfang taking the first half 8-5 and with the mirror being able to start on offense. Marion and McCutcheon moving the disc upfield, which was the story of the first half in this vertical offense of Harfang. And Dubois takes off for a contested catch, but gee, I felt like he had that one right from the outset.
I felt like he was doing a great job of just watching that disc go, and then the defender could not catch up to him. Harfang ran a really smooth offense there, moving that disc really nicely, so they had good opportunities to put it.
Yeah. So, G, you and I were talking at halftime.
Yes.
Red Fox here. We saw some big plays out over the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we excited to see this half?
I'm excited to see if their ladies can do a little bit more for them. And there have been opportunities for a few strikes from number 3, Charlotte Christen. She's looking good. I just don't think that they have been able to connect with her just yet. So hopefully they can get more involved and use the rest of the team. So just to give them some more chances, really, and opportunities.
Absolutely. She seemed in high spirits at halftime. I feel she's probably a player that's just going to go out there and just rip it up best she can to support her team. Harfang's pull lands just out of bounds. And Dubé signals that he will bring it up to the brick.
Here's the horizontal.
And flipping back between the Dubés. Again, seemingly just using that quick little stutter step offense to get it up the field. But that last pass is so close. No, the observers are signaling out. The brothers worked it up the whole way, G, but just at the end, maybe perhaps a little impatient?
They had his number at the end for sure. It was a lot tighter throw than I think the brothers expected, so. Nice grab.
Duchamps finds Guerin up the line for a great leading pass that Red Fox just can't come up to, and Formand airs it out for his receiver. Harfang getting that 0 point after half. The natural break, as some would call it. Gee, where do you think that puts Red Fox's head at right now?
I think they're trying to dig themselves out of a big hole right now and just keeping their heads up and trying to push through it. They need a clean offense right now. They need something that's clean and using more players than just the brothers. I think they need to go beyond that and hopefully open up the brothers by using the other weapons on their team.
Yeah, it seems that Harfang has noticed that the strategy is just Dubé brothers over and over, and they're perhaps clamping down. So Lemaire with her second goal for Harfang brings our score to 9-5. As in most mixed tournaments now, the format for genders in the mixed division this year is every 2 points the gender matchup switches. So what we're seeing right now for Harfang is there are 4 women and 3 men on the line. And they will play 2 points, and then it will switch back to 4 men and 3 women. And that will continue until the game is over, which in mixed is quite interesting because it can lead to kind of some strategy switches.
For sure, and a lot of times even when I coach and when I talk about it, I feel like the women change your game.
Yeah. Well, Red Fox able to get a quick offensive point. Dubé finds number 12, Judith Allison. And Red Fox able to have their first 0 point of the half be a quick one, which is what they really need right now.
A clean shot to Ellison in the end zone. It makes the women a threat, and it makes the other players in the field a threat, and it kind of alleviates some pressure off the brothers to do everything right now.
Yeah.
And I think if they throw a little bit of confidence to their other teammates, they're going to notice that it's just easier to play rather than forcing a few things through maybe that you wouldn't normally do because you're just focused on one or two players.
You get too used to your playmakers, right? And you've got a team full of talent that sometimes you just need that little reminder to use everybody.
You know what I love about this new gender rule that we're playing? That the females also get to pull.
Ah, that's right.
That is something that I haven't seen in a long time. So it's really cool to see that they're really changing it and giving equitable opportunities for everybody to make a pull and to do things that maybe we hadn't seen in the past.
Yeah, and the way that works is the gender that has the more numbers are always doing the pull.
Yeah.
So four women on, and we have a pull from a female matching player. Harfang immediately centers to Marion, who starts working it up the field once again with his partner. He goes to look for a McCutcheon, but a clean run through D for Red Fox. And there we see Red Fox looking off the deep opportunities to just play some possession ultimate right now, using all their weapons on the field to just slowly, methodically work their way down the field and punch it in, which, as we've said, is really what they need right now. So Lambert threw it back to Dubé. Dubé is looking for options. He airs that out into double coverage, and unfortunately, Harfang is able to close in, and it looked like McCutcheon got a hand on that before Durocher could.
Tough throw to make over appealing McCutcheon into the back end zone with two Harfang players coming at you.
Marion now has a deep option. It's kind of far, makes the choice not to throw it. Wants to retain possession of the disc. McCutcheon now back to Marion. We have another strike off the back, but Red Fox seems to read it and stops those cuts in their tracks. Wide open Bronco gets the disc under. She finds Gendron. And her pass to Marion is just a little too floaty. And Durocher maybe got a finger on that. Now Red Fox with an opportunity for a break. They call a timeout. Probably a smart plan.
It's a long point. It's getting hot out there. The turf doesn't help. Heat's rising.
Yeah, it's an extra 5 degrees down with the rubber turf down there. It definitely is hotter on the field. And while I was saying earlier, the speed sure is nice. The heat is definitely one of the most unpopular parts about playing on turf. So, all right, G, if you get your crystal ball out right now, what's Red Fox talking about?
I think they're talking about moving that disc a little bit more between all the players. Getting opportunities deep is great, but if they're noticing that maybe there's a bit more of a poach coming in, usually a male poach is sitting in the lane, so hopefully they can try and swing that disc across and use the rest of the field. Right now I think everything is up and down. Side to side's good too. Move the disc.
Yeah. Now we see taking a knee there in the middle of that huddle for Red Fox. A Dubé brother explaining to that line what he wants to see. He's not on the field, but came out and coached. Often defensive lines or offensive lines that are not playing their main offensive players will have those players come in and give them a quick plan or strategy. So Red Fox is going to set. They, as mentioned before, have to stop, and Harfang is going to set where they like. They're setting in what seems to be a particular, well, maybe not. I'm thinking it's person defense right now, but as I say that, Harfang's moving around.
It's a poachy off defense right now with Marion back in the back there. He's waiting to see if they were going to go, I think, for a strike.
So Ellison had the disc, threw a pass, but a pick was called, and it seems to have involved her receiver, Thibodeau. So that will come back to Ellison. but retains possession. She looks for the reset. Great defense. She's having trouble getting that off. And Harfang is able to make a huge defensive play. Number 26, Bronco, with the big run through D. And Harfang has called a timeout. Did Marion call that?
Marion called that one.
Okay, G, so if you get your crystal ball out.
Okay. I think this time, Marion's going to tell him that we got to calm down a bit and just kind of get this back under control. I think there's a few more turnovers than they want, but it just means that the other team's grinding it out on defense. So hopefully that they're able to move the disc a little bit better. They are having a better movement with the disc, so maybe that's what he's trying to tell them right now. I'm basically saying, hey, it's really hot out there, guys. Let's finish this point. Let's finish this point. Let's move on to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. As they established such control earlier in the game, and we talked about it before, the score being 9-6, Red Fox is maybe perhaps a little anxious, but certainly not afraid. And when you've played a rival like this and you have these tight games, there's still a ton of time left in this slot to make up those 3 points, and then you could just get in a shot-for-shot game. So we'll see if Harfang here can take back the driver's seat that they worked so hard for in the first half.
Looks like a 2-3 split stack going on. 3 people are on the far side and 2 on this side.
So McCutcheon and Bronco on this side. No surprise to see them as the initiators for that play, being close to the disc. McCutcheon finds Bronco. She makes a great extending catch, and she looks to the reset, looking for Marion. He's not there. Looking for someone else. Marion comes back, disc back in the middle of the field, and he's got that characteristic point, looking for the cuts that he wants to see. And works with his partner to get the reset back. Thinks about hucking right away. McCutcheon able to get the disc. Red Fox looking rather flat-footed. McCutcheon airs that out. And, big layout, but it seemed that both both the Harfang player and the Red Fox player didn't really expect that huck, did they, G?
No, I think she ran after the play, after the disc was in the air, and tried to catch up to it after. It was a great look. I think there was just miscommunication between the striker and McCutcheon.
Thibodeau goes for a reset, and the disc works itself to the far side of the field and back to the middle. Castin now with the disc. Lots of big plays out of her in the first half. She's able to move up to an under. Red Fox looking patient. Able to go with the small ball, and Marion saw it coming.
I feel like he's everywhere.
He has been everywhere this game. Seemingly having a great eye for what's going on in the field, and that field awareness pays off for him right there. McCutcheon goes back to Marion. Disc is on the fourth side of the field, so Red Fox wants it on this side of the field, but Marion's able to throw a break throw and get it back to the middle. And we have a pick call in the vertical.
Never happens.
Never happens, but like we said, kind of common, but Harfang's been pretty disciplined with it. McCutcheon airs that out for a streaking Bronco, and she just reaches out, keeps her toes in. Observers signal the goal, and that is a big goal for her Harfang that wanted to stop that train from getting away from them, G.
That was a great bid on that disc. She did a great job reading it, even in that wind. And after that long point, I think both groups are pretty happy to have a tiny little bit of a break before the next group comes on to the line.
Well, we say that,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at that Red Fox line, and I see Castan going back down there and seeing her pump her arms, pump her fists. She's ready to go. So she's been doing a real good job of getting it under constantly. She's been getting open in the vertical. So I imagine, well, Red Fox is down, and Harfang's only 5 points away from the win. We'll probably see her on the field a lot.
Yeah, they're moving the disc really well with the whole team now, and I think now is the time for them to just look for a better opportunity. The strikes right now aren't there. They're poaches, and the men are peeling off right away, so it's difficult to get those in unless you want a 2-versus-1 jump ball in the end zone. So I think they need to just look for a smarter pass and just keep moving it up a little bit more before they have that shot.
Absolutely, and we haven't seen very much success with those jump balls.
No. Not when you got 2 of them on you.
So Harfang's pull by Tremblay Remillard is a big floater and allows Harfang to come down and set up a rather poachy defense as Tremblay Remillard is trying to stay in the way. But Red Fox is able to find it and work it up the middle, eventually getting to Dubé, but I believe there was a pick. Now, what we're seeing right now is number 85 on Harfang there, Duchamps, agreeing with Dubé that while I did get picked, you were going to catch that disc no matter what. So he was able to catch up and set a defensive mark. Good spirit to recognize that rather than sending it back. Desmarais playing a reset role with the Dubé brothers and Lambert as Red Fox moves it up. Red Fox's women in the backfield and seeming a deep vertical, but we have another pick call because the vertical is popular. Desmarais taps the disc in. Looks to reset to a Dubé right away, who finds another Dubé, and they flip it back, playing pass. Saw a lot of that in the first half, and their tic-tac-toe together leads to the goal. Gee, I know we said maybe they should open it up, but when it works, it works.
It works. They move the disc really well with their handlers over there. In a vertical, it's hard sometimes because a lot of the play revolves around your handlers. So the cutters in the back really need to be patient and make sure that they're making timed cuts so that they can catch those. Christine made a really nice cut there, but her defender did a great job of just covering her on that swing. So they're looking for the right things. I think they're slowing the game down a little bit, which might be to their benefit actually right now, and hopefully they can get a break.
Yeah, only 3 points away. Not a deficit that is too dire at this point in the game. But we've got about a half hour, and time will start to catch up with Red Fox if they can't rifle off a break or two right now to keep themselves just not getting time capped. Neat pull by Dubé, just landing in the field proper and skidding out the side of the end zone. So that has to be fielded at the cone. Marion picks up and starts to work it with his reset and McCutcheon. And McCutcheon's throw to Branco, who was already cutting out. I believe he perhaps thought she was coming in. Gee, it looked like just a miscue there. So Dubé will pick up and centers to the middle to his brother immediately, and then back to him. And a pick call comes out of the vertical stack. The handlers weren't involved, so Dubé's just ready to tap it in once our players downfield are ready. Marion, we're seeing him do that poach again, G.
Yep, he's waiting.
Ooh. And
Elisson with the disc right now.
Elisson, thank you.
Tough throw to make. Was right inside of was that Dubé over there.
Yep.
And he just had to try and reach out for it, but it was tough.
So a big hug, not exactly expected, but a huge bid by Alexandre Dubois just gets Harfang right fired up. Gee, I don't think Dubois knew that was happening until he kind of pressed the panic button there.
Nope, he saw that disc go right in front of him, and he didn't want to play another D point, so he reached out for it and made a beautiful grab in the end zone. I wish there was a photographer there right now. It would have been real nice. But that was great transition D from Harfang. Right away picked it up and went for it.
Yeah. A great huck, too, right where the defender couldn't get it. Luckily, Dubois could just.
Yes.
But sometimes that wind is just a little bit helpful as it lets that disc float a little bit longer, giving your receivers that extra chance to just make a bid and fly out And it just seemed to sit out there for him to make that wonderful layout. So once again for Red Fox, we're seeing Dubé, Lambert, Christin, Harfang. We've seen this D-line that has come out as the Harfang lead has extended. Gee, it's kind of a hard thing in discipline too, to keep your defensive line fired up, to carry out so the offensive line never needs to come back. Oh, and I will just stop because it seems an observer is signaling an offside. But play continues, and since no one acknowledged it, I imagine the play continued and the Dubé scored. As the offside was against Harfang, I suppose, as Red Fox saw no disadvantage that point, they just
didn't
continued.
call it. Which I do like that about this, is that if you don't want to call that as an offside, you can choose not to and continue to play it. It was a good choice for Red Fox, of course, as they scored that point. But again, there is no with our observers over here. They get the chance to tell them what's going on without actually making calls for the teams on the field. That's still a discussion between the players on the field, and usually is pretty spirited, as we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. This game has been a very spirited game, as we've seen. There have been several pick calls, but those have always come to resolution quite quickly. Very few foul calls, and when they have been, they've been uncontested and seemingly accidental, and very much not that kind of grindy, perhaps from Western Canada, Vancouver. I could say that because I'm from there, kind of angry, bumping defense. So, we've seen some really spirited play today.
Really nice pull from Elisson there.
And send it to Malion, who finds Dubois. And he looks for Bronco, but once again, Bronco involved with that miscue in the middle of the field. It just seems that the timing is not quite there, but she immediately looked to Dubois, and you can see them work it out.
It's like, we got this next time.
Yeah. Dubé picks up for Red Fox. He finds Brother in the middle. He elects to reset, which is something we've seen in the second half from Red Fox. And the commentators curse as I say that. He airs it out for number 12, who's not quite in. Allison looking for an option, but Dubé comes up to back her up. And Harfang looking around, seemingly, was there a call? How could this happen?
Elisson made a nice push pass in the end there. I think she saw Dubé running in from behind and had to lay it up for him. And it was a nice grab by Dubé, seeing as she had no cuts from the front.
Now, fun fact, that was a break.
Oh!
So, Red Fox has closed the gap now to 2 points. And we're seeing Harfang kind of regroup in the middle of the field, while Red Fox is just energy right now, believing that they can come back, which they totally can. There's totally enough time, and if we see play like that of just possession, ultimate, smart choices, and then playmakers, I mean, those are kind of all the ingredients you need.
It's a game of runs.
It's a game of runs.
Hopefully Red Fox goes on right now.
So Harfang will continue with that O-line they had last point. Seemingly the same players. Hands on knees, kind of collecting themselves. Red Fox calling out their matchups. Dubé throws a high pull, which looks like it will not survive the whims of the wind, and it sails out of bounds. So Harfang will pick it up. And number 21, I want to give a shout out to because we do not have his information. I have not found his name, and he has just been doing incredible reset work in the back with Malion, throwing some big throws. And we'll have to mention him at a later time when we get his info. And McCutcheon looks for that inside throw that Harfang has been using all game, but number 21 just turning his head right at the moment that McCutcheon threw that leads to a turnover. So Dubé will pick up the Red Fox and immediately air it out for his brother, but that throw is just too far. Gee, what do you think about that choice?
They were looking for it, I think, even before that disc was turned over. Let's just put it that way. I think that was what they wanted right away. It could be a good idea because now the disc is back into Harfang's end zone. But was it at the right time? I'm not too sure.
It's hard not to run plan A sometimes.
Yes.
So Marion picks up. He finds McCutcheon over to Bronco. Disc up at the brick mark. Bronco looking for a reset. She'll look for Malion, who takes a quick step around, able to stay ahead of Dubé. Now he looks for an option and finds a reset back to the middle to Couturier, whom...
Just to note, the wind is picked up.
Oh, yeah. So her throw doesn't connect. Dubé is able to throw, but travel called on him by McCutcheon. It looked as if his back foot, his pivot foot, went over. That is to say, the top of his foot was now in the contact in the ground instead of the bottom, which is a travel. Dubé airs that out, and unfortunately for Harfang, that macked disc on the defensive play stays in the air and sails out for Red Fox to run onto. So, gee, fun fact, that was a break.
Did I talk about a game of runs? Because
I
I think this is one.
I think you did talk about a game of runs, yeah. So Red Fox certainly on a run here, and now our game is within one. Harfang signaling they've taken a time out. Probably a good call, trying to keep the sand from slipping through their fingers right now. And time, we are at 65 minutes. I believe it's an 85-minute time slot. So 20 minutes here, and we saw earlier a game that was a 3-point spread, and just like that, it's within 1 and 20 minutes to go. I think, gee, this is anyone's game right now.
Oh, it is anyone's game. The momentum has shifted so much to Red Fox's side right now, and what they're doing well is that they're grinding it out. After every turn and every point, they're just going for it, and they didn't give up on that disc. And Dubé catches it so nicely in the end zone. Everybody's patting him on the back, thanking him for grabbing that second chance.
So I imagine Harfang's timeout, probably a lot of talk of, let's just do what we were doing well.
Yeah.
Take it easy. We've had a few miscues. We've been throwing to players that have sort of finished their cut. They've made their move. They're on their way out. They're clearing for someone else to make a move, and we've stuck with it for too long. Red Fox, I think, have found a really good balance now between, and I keep saying the Dubés, but now we're also seeing a lot of their women come into the play. There's a lot of other men in the backfield that are there for those resets or those easy unders. So it seems they've really got their variety going now, and it's serving them well.
Yeah, the movement between everyone on that team now and everybody's touching the disc, it just changes. It alleviates pressure on the Dubés, it changes the game, and it makes everybody a threat. So I think Red Fox has made some good adjustments in the second half, and this is a game.
So Dubé's pull will sail out of bounds. Malion will go fetch that and likely bring it up to the brick mark. And I do find it interesting. You see this from some teams. It's just what they're good at, but Harfang has elected to keep their vertical. I guess if it isn't broken, don't fix it. They have the lead still. They've been scoring with their vertical, but I am interested that we haven't really seen much except that one split stack play.
With Mariam being such a force as a handler and touching that disc every other time. I think a vert stack really plays into their game very well. They run it really nicely, and everybody is very patient in that vertical, taking the opportunities that they can.
So Gendron, Marion, and 21 are able to work it up the field pretty easily, and Dubois, with his second big layout of the game, is able to save that errant pass. As once again, I believe we saw that in the middle with Bronco, and just it wasn't quite connecting, and Dubois with his head up, huge play.
From this angle, that I thought that was just going to pass by everybody, and then Dubois with that nice layout bid to grab that disc. It was pretty. It was really pretty.
Well, Harfang certainly needed that one after Red Fox's huge momentum run they just had. And now Harfang saying, all right, we just need extended 3 more points.
I think this is the fun part. Now the D-line gets to come on. Now they get to kind of grind it out with this offensive line from Red Fox, trying to cause a turn. So I think the energy, again, it's going to shift. It's going to change again.
Do you think this wind is going to show us some different Ds or have a big effect?
Possibly. We haven't seen anything new, like you said, but I think if they were to change something or mess with something, I think this is the time.
Yeah, with Red Fox will be going into the wind here, so this would be a good time to perhaps throw a defense that is really going to make them throw lots of passes. You have a 2-point lead, eat up some clock. They'll have to throw some big over-the-tops or some really short, quick throws, which can be difficult to field in this wind. It just seems we have...
Is it points?
Harfang's just speaking with the observer. I'm not sure if we're trying to work out a time cap or perhaps
yeah,
a gender.
Marion has his coaching hat on right
It was
now.
a gender mismatch. So
yes.
Yeah, so this point looks like it's going to be 4 women. Harfang had 4 men out there, so quick discussion with the observer. That's Jeff Peters, and Marion are able to work that out. Thank you, Jeff.
Very nice.
Lekier's pull, a great one, landing just behind the brick. Harfang able to get down there and set up a D pretty quickly as the Dubés flip it back and forth to set up the offense. And we see Harfang backing the Dubés. And as they work it through the middle together, the women in the backfield in the stack, and they open up as the Dubés get it out to their field. Christin goes streaking to the end zone for Dubé. Stays there after a back and forth, and she gets that goal. Gee, I'm happy to see that. I really wanted to see Costa open it up, and she does.
Great timing on her cut. She has had great timing all game. I think just the throws weren't there for her just yet. They were looking for something else. But now that Red Fox has kind of maybe relaxed a little and started getting into their game, it looks like they're using those threats. They're start capitalizing on all the opportunities that they have now. It's looking good.
Was looking good. It seems, I'm not sure if we saw this earlier in the game, but right there we saw in that vertical offense that the men were mostly at the front, playing pass with each other and always doing the deep for that, and we saw Harfang backing them, while the women were lying in wait in the back of that vertical. And as soon as the men got up the line for big hop opportunities, the women were just opening it up with their legs, and just presenting so many options in the backfield for them.
Yeah, I think the ladies in the back are seeing that field space and watching the men and reading off of what they're doing. So the initiations from the men in the front, I think, also have helped them kind of get going too. So this might have been their game from the start. I think maybe the jitters of being a CUCs could have also affected what their plan was from the get-go.
Absolutely. Thibodeau's pull is fielded and centered to Marion. But Red Fox is able to set up a defense pretty quickly. He's able to just sneak it past the Red Fox defender as he and 21 work it up the field. And he's looking for options. He'll like to go back to Marion, whom Red Fox seeming to just be in the way in the middle there, taking the opportunity to not necessarily be on their check, but just get in the way. But Harfang airs it out for Dubois. Dubois again turning out to be the hero for Harfang. Gee, I like what I'm seeing.
That was a really nice rip down the field, and Dubois, as always in that end zone, just fighting it out. That was a great contest by Dubé over there, though. He was there. He was with them, and it was just really, really hard because Dubois is on a roll right now.
Absolutely. Red Fox definitely recognizing that he's the man right now, but when you're on, sometimes you're not easily handled, even unstoppable at times, and Dubois really shoring it up for his team here to hold on to that lead. So our score now, 13-11. That was Dubois' 4th goal this game, and he's got 1 assist, so he's racking up the stat sheet.
He's looking good.
I would say the Dubés are too, but they probably just average it out between each other.
If we counted how many passes they got in the middle of the field before they scored, I think we'd win. They'd win.
Oh, absolutely. So, once again, this Harfang D-line that we've seen do a lot of the heavy lifting this game. O-line has been getting them back out there, and they've just been doing a grind. This forehand pull is going to land at the brick mark and roll. But good goalie skills by one of the Dubés. That might have been Dolce, sorry. And Red Fox begins to work it around in the middle of the field. Now we're seeing a zone look from Harfang. And you can tell Red Fox has seen it before. They're definitely being patient with it.
They're looking for some opportunities in the middle, but it looks like Harfang's allowing the swings side to side right now and just making it hard for anybody in the middle to catch that disc.
Yeah. Now we'll see once they get it on the sideline. That's where Harfang earlier I saw was trying to really stifle the defense, but this looks like more of a in front of the disc.
Slow them down.
Yeah, kind of cup. Let's just stop their big throws. They're almost forming a 3-person wall with 1 person in the middle just to stop the big throws right now and make them throw lots of passes. Perhaps a good choice with the clock being where it's at.
I think slowing the game down will help Harfang out a lot. As we know that Red Fox loves to go deep, loves to strike. They're a quick-moving team, too, so this makes them work a bit harder for that point.
Yeah, and to throw something different at a team and make them adjust when they're down is really important because you don't want them to come up with a plan. And just like that, it pays off for Harfang. Make them throw lots, and perhaps we'll get a turn. And Harfang just turns it around, airs it out immediately, but the Dubés are there. While there are some collisions, there are no calls, and Dubé immediately calls a timeout. So, G, do you think that was part of the plan? Do you think it was get the turnover, throw deep if we get the shot, great. If we don't, put the zone back on?
Hopefully, that was the plan. It was really hard with 3 Red Fox players come in as well, peeling back. So if the plan is to set that zone again and to make the Red Fox make them work it up the field, then their plan is working because they did cause a turnover. They're making it really hard, and it does look like Red Fox is going to be a little bit more impatient now that time's running out. The clock's ticking, right? So they got to keep going. So I think this is a good plan from Harfang if it was the real plan. So I'm going to say yes right now. And hopefully their zone comes back on and they do the same thing. Make them work.
So Red Fox will have to set and cement themselves in position. And once they have done that, Harfang will get a chance to set up. And we're seeing a pretty traditional horizontal look. Well, I take that back. It seems that it's a horizontal with 3 people straight across the field that are a little bit deeper while one of the Dubés is up on the sideline. And Harfang does set up that wall with the defensive mark in the middle of that wall, definitely trying to stop the big throws on the straight up mark, but also just cut off those little lane throws. But Red Fox continuing to show that patience. And Harfang probably hoping it's just, once again, enough throws will generate a miscue. So the Dubés and Deloche continue to move it around. Looking for the easy options. Happy to move the disc back and forth, side to side on the field. Just play disc retention right now. Still enough time left that if Red Fox scores this point, they're well in contention to win this game. Gee, have you got an eye on the backfield?
With Kristen in the back, she's very deep right now, and I think she's trying to stretch the deep defender over here. But because there's no opportunity to throw in this wind, I think she's just chilling out in the end zone right now until they get the opening.
Dubé able to keep that alive. Harfang looking for those tight throws, hoping they don't go Red Fox's way. And Dubé, I'm sure, knows that. He's directing traffic, trying to look for the open options. And that's Harfang yelling. That is their drop to person defense. They're pointing, they're looking for their checks, who to find, probably doing that thanks to the disc being so far up the field and close to the end zone. Dubé looking for options, teasing us with the hammer and scoober look. Goes for the scoober to his brother, who swings it around to Allison. She finds a Dubé and back to the middle.
You could tell Red Fox has played against this zone before. They've been avoiding that sideline this entire time. And as you could tell, like, once you got to our sideline, it was the toughest thing.
Yeah, they were setting a trap there, and just that patience and looking for those breaks, Red Fox able to work it all the way up the field patiently for that goal. So the score, 13-12. Anyone's game right now. But the time cap quickly approaching.
After that point, I think Red Fox actually has a really good opportunity to really go down there and play some gritty defense, try and get those turns from Harfang, or maybe force a deep shot that might go crazy. But again, Dubois out there, they know that Dubois is going to be a threat, so if they could shut him down and force some errant throws, I think they do have an opportunity to tie this up.
Absolutely. I'm interested to see if we'll see a zone D here from Red Fox take advantage of the weather, or a high intensity D to generate a turnover as quick as they can.
And looks like the wind is going on our backs right now, so it's going to crosswind again.
And it seems, yeah, perhaps an offside, but it looks like Marion is signaling offside to the observer.
And Sheila Quinto says no.
Well, but we have Jeff Peters on the other side of the field signaling offside, so I think usually it's the observer that sees the offside that calls it. Peters was on the Red Fox side. He is walking down the field. He did throw the signal. Now, I don't know if he was echoing it or calling it. And so right now, there's a discussion about what to do. Unfortunately, we can't hear them to work out what the resolution to this is going to be, but there seems to be a friendly conversation about it. And we're seemingly back to normal. So Harfang starts with their usual play of the front cutting across and then going deep. Bronco comes from the back. She's looking for an under. It's not there. Now looking for a reset. Mario is there because he sees it as she airs it out for him, and he puts out a big flick huck to none other than Dubois, who gets up very high and makes a very athletic catch. And Harfang keeping this game just out of reach of Red Fox.
Dubois needs a heat check, but from what we're seeing right now, it looks like that was game.
It does look like that was game. I didn't hear a horn, but it must have come down to the observers' whistles and timing. So it looks like Harfang has pulled out the win on this 2 versus 2 grudge match, and they win the best of 5, 3-2. Gee, a really well-fought game. This was a fun one to call.
This was exciting. Both sides were going at it. Big throws, big layouts. It was an exciting game to watch, and you can tell they're rivals. You can tell that they played each other so much. They know what's going on, and they want the win. So that was really cool to watch, and can't wait to see what they have for tomorrow. This is 1-2, so we might see them again.
Absolutely. And with such a tight game like that, if they do see each other again in the tournament, once again, it's not as if Harfang or Red Fox has, quote-unquote, their number. You know, it'll be a really tight match, so that's exciting. So as this game concludes, we'll be starting to cover our next game of General Strike from Manitoba playing Manic from Quebec. However, you will not be able to access it on this particular stream. You do have to go find the other link for the next stream. I will not read out all the letters and symbols to you, but if you go to the Canadian Ultimate Championship website, you can find the links to the streams, or just search it on YouTube, but it will be a different link to the stream for our next game. We'll take a break, and you can be back with us on the other stream for our first streamed men's division game this afternoon at the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships.